Greetings folks, today I want to share with you a little build that probably took too many hours of my lifespan. But then suddenly I realized, oh my god Pasta, your time has no value. So that's okay. What would you have done instead? Cook, socialize with the ceiling mold inching closer and closer to you? Or have your friend explain why he lives with a roll of toilet paper on his desk at all times and he really needed that 3-layer double premium texture that smells like pinecone. But more importantly, in his attempt to justify his sin, he also tried to convince me, an Italian, that water bottles had been outlawed in France, sent to the guillotine, and all you can find to drink came straight from a carton, because he is too ashamed to admit that he really likes to drink milk straight from the box. Now that I enriched your life with more European history, let's get into the build. Pasta double shield, are you actually insane? Well yes, I thought we agreed on that as you did not close this video yet. This is an hybrid build, you can play with two shields, a shield and a one-handed weapon, even a wand and a shield, or even a shield and magic, just you have to have a shield, of course, just by adjusting a little bit your mana consumption. However, I will focus on dual shield mainly because no matter what you do, it will work, because since we go spell power conversion, our damage is gonna be amazing. This build comes fully online in Act 2. You can choose to level up as a melee, or a knight, or a mage, or even going dual wield from the get-go, as the damage of dual wielding shields is surprisingly decent. In this video I will go through all the gear necessary, where to find it, possible alternatives, different playstyle changes, attributes and perk allocation through leveling. So let's dispense with the nonsense and go straight into the build, and also, more importantly, why you should not send embarrassing pictures of yourself to your friends. Okay, let's look at our gear. First of all, the most important part, which is gonna be the shield, or shields if you like. On the setup that I showed you earlier, I used Howling Crest. This is an Act 1 item, super early item. You can even grab this one as soon as you start the game with a fresh character if you are fast enough to dodge the bandits trying to spill your guts. The interesting part of this shield is that it will allow you, when you bash, create a small rainbow cone, and you can puke that one on enemies. The idea behind this build is that we are gonna combine Howling Crest with Spellwarden Trousers, which will increase our spell power depending on our missing mana. Of course, our Hexgrip Spellwarden from Act 2. No, you don't need two Howling Crest to work. However, if you want a second Howling Crest in your first playthrough, you will have to gamble for random items, which is really not that problematic, especially because you want to get yourself some relics to have more mana and stamina. However, this build wants as much mana as possible without sacrificing our water stats. I used during my playthrough Block of Ice. In alternative, you can use Scat Hatchword. You can use any shield that you want, just make sure that the base damage on the shield is not super low, otherwise, well, your damage will suffer. Well, Pasta, I don't want to really play with two shields, it's dumb, just give me an alternative. You can go with Shadowfang River. This one is a staple from Act 2. You can also go Crucible, upgraded by killing 40 enemies. Then stack a lot of upgrades, and this will multiply your spell power. We have a lot of spell power on this build, and you can even change some items if you want extra spell power. So this will boost your damage immensely. But the choice is up to you. After all, this is a dual shield build. Crucible, you get Crucible when you get all your Act 2 items, with Hexgrip and the Spellwarden crafting, after you finish Act 2. So there is that. For rings, we're gonna use mana rings. Lesser mana rings doesn't matter. Get yourself some sources of maximum mana on this build. If you're going to spam that Howling Crest, the damage of the bash is nice. Boots and pants, we're gonna use Spellwarden. Now, if you do not want to use a Howling Crest, you can use a piece of Druidbane to disable your mana. I don't suggest that, but still. Spellwarden, boots and pants. If you're using spells alongside this setup, and you're feeling like, well, Pasta, my mana is getting deleted, I cannot afford to use these boots, then use something else. You can use Royal Slipper or any pair of melee damage boots or physical damage. Lancelot, Gawain, the usual one, the usual suspects. For Amulet, we're gonna use Archdruid. Well, this is a no-brainer, we need mana on this build. For chest, we're gonna use Doublet of the Last Jest. You need to finish Act 2 for this one. It will give you an insane amount of damage. And the incoming healing penalty is not gonna be as relevant to you because we heal through Life Leech, at least when we attack with our shields. For back item, you have to get Winged Cavalier. You need to go here and do a quest for Atli. Or you're putting more points in Perception. You will have to get this one before you can use the Duelist Cloak from Abigor when you kill it in Act 1. For Helmet, best in slot is Queen Protector. Spell power, physical more important 5% critical chance. However, since you need to actually grind for Queen Protectors, you can use Crow if you do the Children of Morrigan questline from Act 1. You can use Dual Knight if you're struggling with stamina consumption. You can use Gawain if you're low on crit. If you're low on crit, you can also use Twin Dirge Veil. Otherwise, you can craft yourself early a Revenant Cowl, which is a quite good early crafting set in Act 1. In alternative, if mana is really a concern to you, it can be depending on how much you're pushing your consumption. You can even get yourself a Red Hat. This will give you some max mana. If you don't want to use Spellwarden Trousers, because I want to give you option, before you get this one, you can use yourself Spellslinger from Act 1. You can get yourself Tainted Priestess leg covers in Act 2. Or you can use even Volker Warborn in Act 3. This item is good, but only if your critical chance is decent. Gloves cannot be replaced. Before you get your Hexgrip, use Abigor gloves. That's what I did on this build pretty much. Now, let's look at our attributes and then the perk allocation. These are my final stats. We have 600 melee damage, 500 critical damage, overall a well-balanced health and mana pool. If you want to have more mana, you can put more points in spirituality. These are subjective. However, I will still put points in endurance because stamina is quite important in this build. But Pasta, why putting more points in strength than endurance? We convert endurance in physical damage through one of our perks. Going in strength will give you maximum stamina. Going in endurance, in my opinion, however, is better because health, which is essential, stamina regeneration, but more important, can carry more stuff when you run around. No points in dexterity should not be needed unless you're using one of the items that requires points in dexterity. In that case, it's up to you. Spirituality, I would say if you're not a full spellcaster, 15, you can put as much as you want. And for perception, we want to hit at least 80% critical chance on this build. Okay, Pasta, how do I level up this thing? As I said earlier, you can level up this however you want. However, this is what I did. 6 points in strength, 6 points in endurance, then 10, and then 10. The minimum requirement to use our shield is 5, 7. Then 15, 15. We pump our spiritualities to 10. We need 11 points to use our Spellwarden, so keep this one in mind. And afterward, perception. Now, if you're a spellcaster, you want more than 11. Especially in Act 3, you want to have at least a baseline of 15 or even 20. The goal of you is doing a balancing act, which will change depending on what items you got and the one that you have equipped. After this, depending on what you want to do, watch that crit. The crit needs to be good. If crit is bad, build sucks in Act 3. So you're warned. Alright, let's look at our skill tree. How do we do this? Very simple. Godly Physique, maxed. Endurance. Assuming that you're equipping a shield, otherwise you get this later, clearly. 3 points in counterweight, 1 point in disrupting shove, 3 points in confidence, 1 point in prepared block, deflecting block, max agile fighter. Then we come back in endurance, shield bearer. Then we go in practicality, 1 point in bone and armor, 1 point in inner strength to convert that endurance. Then we go again in strength, weapon of the great theft, 3 points in powerful blows. Only 2 heavy attacks we can stagger on this build. Mana battery, maxed. Invigorating energy. We're gonna put 1 point in frequent exercise, 2 points in determination. We go back in endurance, we max prepared block, 3 points in unending assault, 2 points in ambidextrous, symmetrical combat, 3 points in unstoppable momentum. Now, in Act 2, as soon as you lock Red Death, 3 points in Plague Warden. We go in practicality, 1 point in armor skin, best offense maxed, max born in armor. We go in perception finally, As usual, if you want to go in perception early because you're struggling with crit, max extra lucky, critical cascade, 2 points in respite and cruelty, critical age is maxed, bloodthirst, this is our only self-heal, that's good, max go for the eyes, 2 points in deep wounds, 3 points in exploitation of affliction. We go in spirituality, as soon as you have your Hexgrip Vambrace, arcane teaching, maxed, power in swiftness, 1 point in sorcerer efficiency, 3 points in Eldritch Desperation. If you're playing with wand, but Pasta, can I play with a cube? Sure, knock yourself out. No, really, I didn't test the cube, so please don't do it. Or if you do it, let me know how it went. 3 points in Arcane Conduit, 1 Mastery, and that's it. Unless you're a spellcaster, in that case, invest any further. Then we go in Red Death, we max Crime Pain, 2 points in Long Regret, 3 points in Gain and Give Up, 1 point in Great Enemies, Crit Whipping Success, Generation 1 damage, 2 points in Executioner. Okay, if you want, you can put points in Executioner early, this will boost your damage absolutely. However, we don't stagger that much on this build, at least in the way that I played it with the Shield Bash, but you can absolutely do that. 3 points in Strikes of Luck, 3 points in Increased Vitality, then we go in Practicality, 1 point in Healthy Appetite, 1 in Revengeful Restoration, 1 point in Rejuvenation, 1 point in Mother Blessing, 1 point in Unnatural Resilience, and the build is done. Now, let's look at the location of most items in this build.
Oi, Noel, what if I pulled Excalibur from that stone, but it broke? But only...
And that's it. If you got this far, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing for more gaming content of questionable and diverse quality. If you have any doubts or questions, let me know in the comments below. Have fun playing Tainted Grail, and I will see you in the next video.